a film that's coming out in November of next year about a group of immortals created by Disney legend Jack Kirby in a film we call The Eternals. You want to meet the Eternals? All right, ladies and gentlemen, as Icarus, Richard Madden. Playing the Eternal Kingo.
What's going on, moviegoers? If you're new to the channel, my name's Christian and welcome to SeaWorld Productions. Alright, so we all know that Marvel Studios and the recent films in Phase 4 have all shifted release dates. Black Widow is now taking the Eternals release date in November, and the Eternals is now taking the Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings in February, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is taking the Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness in May, and the Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness is taking the Thor Ragnarok in November of 2021. It's all been shifted. And it kind of had to, because a lot of things aren't currently shooting. You know what I mean? The teams that Marvel Studios have hired can't work on these films right now because of this whole pandemic. So I like the fact that all the movie releases for these films has shifted. I think it's a good idea. But I will say this. Nothing is final. Nothing is final. Because we don't know when things will get better. Nobody knows right now. So Black Widow's supposed to come out in May. We'll see if it hits that release date. We'll see about that. But in this video, we're going to be talking about a particular film called The Eternals and how this film was under pressure to get done by November. So with Eternals getting pushed back to February, maybe it actually works out for, the greater good for that film to be pushed back that many months so the team doesn't feel pressured to get this film completely done. Now, the MCU Cosmic is reporting some interesting stuff on the rumored details of why this film was pressured to get done by a certain time. I'm gonna read you guys some of the article. Details on the Eternals rumored rush production revealed. Last week, a rumor was publicly surfaced on social media about the production of the Eternals, which was being discussed among movie reporters for several months. This probably wasn't going to come out until closer to the film's release, when set reports start getting published, but it surfaced online following the movie's delay to February 2021. MCU Cosmic Patrons already know these details after this weekend's podcast, but now they're out for everyone to see for themselves. Daniel Rittman told the Direct how the script was reportedly not completely finished when production started, and the biggest thing was that the design of the Black Knight costume wasn't complete. That's something that was going to be fixed in post-production and possible reshoots. Recently, one of the visual effect houses, VFX houses, said that they were working remotely before word came out that their contracts were canceled. The delay of the Eternals will give them a little more time to polish the movie, assuming everything with this virus works out and they don't have to shift the whole slate again. Now, this is interesting to me. Why would Marvel rush this movie just to hit that November release date? I don't get that. You have created this formula that works. Your movies are the best. Why are you rushing films to get done? Especially a high caliber film like The Eternals, where it's going to be heavily visual effects, heavily, a lot of action in the whole cosmic world. Why are we rushing? Why are you pressuring your team to get this film done by November? Makes no sense. You just finished Endgame and the entire Infinity Saga. There's no reason to start, rushing these films, you know what I mean? Putting your whole team under pressure. And I don't really necessarily understand that. I did a little bit more reading on this, and apparently Black Knight's costume will be digitally added into the film. Like, they didn't even finish it. So they're going the whole route of the floating head shit, which we saw in Avengers Infinity War with Tom Holland Spider-Man and Iron Man. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of that floating head crap. I think it looks terrible. Like the Iron Spider suit was badass, but I much prefer practical effects. Like this, like, the first Stark suit that he made him. It looked really good. Now, hence, I know 100% of that suit by the end of the film wasn't all practical. Yeah, they go in and digitally, do the visual effects and things of that nature, make the eyes move. I get it. But still, majority of that suit was practical. So it looked good. I'm not a fan of that floating head crab. And we're talking Black Knight. His costume is very, very dope and different iterations of it in the comic books. And they all look spectacular. So I much rather see that actual costume be fully made and practical, especially since you can make something like that. It's not like it's so outrageous like the Iron Spider suit where you can't make it. Now I get why they, had to digitally add in the Iron Spider suit. I get why. But the whole floating head thing doesn't necessarily look good to me. Iron Man. The first Iron Man film, even like the first Avengers film and like the first, even like the second Iron Man movie, he looks really good because Downey majority of the time had majority of the suit on. But as time progressed, it got less and less and less, and by like Endgame, he was literally just wearing that, and like that was it. But I don't know, man. Like I don't get the whole need to rush this film. I don't. There's no need to rush the Eternals. Like I know you have a time slate. You want these films out at a certain time. But don't rush these movies. Don't. Like, I don't get why. I'm pretty sure y'all didn't rush the Russo brothers for these films. Get what I'm saying? Like, just let these films play out like the way they're supposed to play out. I'm not a fan. Like, oh man, even if they decide to do reshoots, you know what I mean? Like for the Eternals, and Kit Harington has to come in and do the whole Black Knight thing, and they actually finished his costume, during this whole pandemic, which I highly doubt because nobody's really working right now. Some visual effects artists are and some aren't. So I don't know how this is really going to play out. Like I said, it could benefit hitting that February release date of next year. It could benefit. It really could. But like I said, nothing is official yet. We don't know when theaters are going to open. We don't. And if AMC is going bankrupt, and if AMC can't open its doors, where the fuck are majority of these movies going to be playing in? Regal Cinemas, Pacific Theater Cinemas, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see, movie theaters thriving like they did before this whole pandemic. It is an issue right now, And I said this in one of my recent videos. Wonder Woman 1984 comes out in August. Let's say they decide to release, reopen things in July. A lot of people are still going to feel uncomfortable going out. A lot. So I do think that, majority of these films coming out this year will suffer at the box office. It definitely will. You know what I mean? To have an entire theater sold out and people still sit next to each other when the whole, pandemic isn't kind of over and it's still out there, it's going to be an issue. It's going to be a problem. So I'm not saying any of the films right now with, the new, release dates, nothing's solidified. Nothing's official yet. I really don't believe it. I'll believe it once I start seeing things reopen. But, as of right now, November for Black Widow, we'll see. Maybe. You know what I mean? Like, just because Marvel announces a new release date for the film doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come out. Because Disney doesn't know shit about when theaters going to reopen. They really don't. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know what's really going to happen, you guys. But I find it kind of interesting to see, with these new shifts of release dates and, this whole Eternals thing going on. But like I said, I'm still very much excited for the Eternals. I cannot wait to see these godlike characters, in the MCU. And I can't wait to see how enriched their backstory is going to be, in the MCU. It's gonna be pretty fun. But I'm also hyped. I'm hyped about it, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm hyped. Just because I'm a little, concerned about, the pressure, to get this film done, I'm still very much hyped about the Eternals. And it's a shame when we aren't getting, any kind of trailer anytime soon, since they can officially push the marketing back for this film, since this film won't come out until February of next year. So maybe we'll get a trailer late summer this year, possibly. I highly doubt San Diego Comic-Con is going to be happening in July, so you can scratch that off your list. But it's going to be interesting. But post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about the Eternals. Details coming out of how this film was pressured to get done. Post your comments down below, you guys, and thank you for taking time in your day for watching Serial Productions. Peace.